February 5th. It is a Monday, and it is a brand new episode of Let There Be Talk. Welcome to the show, my friends. Glad you are here. I'm here. I made it. I'm alive. I'm back from Las Vegas. I turned 58 on Saturday, and I want to thank everybody for the incredible love that I got on the Instagram and text and emails and all of that. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Show is a little late today because I am just absolutely fried. Decided to go to Vegas over the weekend and see U2. I actually planned it a couple months ago. I was like, wait, I got to see the Sphere. And I love U2. They're doing the Achtung Baby record. That is a must. So got the tickets. It finally came. Flew out there on Friday night. Did a spot at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio Hotel. Incredible audience. Then chilled some of the Saturday and went to the Sphere. And I will tell you this right now, people. I am still fucking buzzing from that venue and that concert. It was unreal. I was sitting there thinking about it. First of all, if you know, I was going to take a handful of mushrooms and take the ride. And I got into the venue, and it was so overwhelming that I was like, oh, I'm not going to take these mushrooms, because what was happening on the screen in the venue was so incredible. It was basically what you would take mushrooms to try to get to in life, these visuals that were happening right when I walked in to the Sphere. Sphere. Such a weird word to say. I don't know why. But so I didn't take the mushrooms because I was like, this is insane. And I was way the fuck, like it's like slanted in a heavy duty angle. And if one wrong move, you could fall off one of the decks easily. You're just like, watching a band, and then you're not paying attention, and whoops, bloop, you just fall off. I'm going to tell you this right now. The future has finally come. All those years where you're hearing like in the future, the concerts are going to be like this, and we're going to take flying cars, and we're going to have fucking televisions in our hand. Well, we've had all of that kind of stuff, but the future of concerts has finally come, and it is fucking nuts. I can't even believe it. It's like, the Apple, they dropped that fucking virtual reality goggles over the weekend. This is like you have those goggles on, but you don't. It's basically virtual reality with no fucking goggles. It is unreal. I'm now obsessed with it. And it came in my life right when I was thinking, I only got like 4 concerts left in me. And I keep saying that because I've gone to thousands of shows, and I'm good. I've done it. Stand there. There's the 4 guys. They're standing there. They're playing the songs. I'm right here. They play one. I'm standing here. I get it. But this is so unreal that I will pretty much be going to this venue exclusively if a band plays there. I just got tickets to see Dead & Co. today, so I will be seeing that. And it is just, I can't even describe it. I could send you videos. It wouldn't do it justice. And I thought about it. I saw U2 back in 1992 at the Oakland Coliseum where the A's play. And at that time, the U2 had changed the game then. They had the flying cars. They were really the first band with like the fucking 2,000-foot screens, and Bono early cell phone calling people on the brick. And it was a complete game changer back then. And then over the years, that kind of became standard. Bands were like, we want to do like that U2 thing. Let's do it, and they did. Well, here's U2 all these years later, over 30 years later or whatever. And they have absolutely changed the game again. Not that they really changed. I mean, the venue and them and Octung Baby, it's a perfect fucking storm. And oh my God, I just cannot believe this venue. And also, I cannot believe how great U2 was this deep in their career. Over the last couple months, all people were talking about was the venue. So I was like, oh, but what about U2? I mean, I've gone to a million shows. I never talk about the fucking venue. U2 is crushing right now. And it made me realize, which I already knew, for me, the Octung Baby record is one of the greatest records ever made. And to listen to them play this thing live with so much soul and passion after all these years, and Bono just fucking delivering as a killer, comfortable frontman all these years later. You know, U2 got trashed when they put that free record on people's iPhones, and I never understood it. It was like right up there when people trashed Tom Cruise for jumping on the couch on Oprah. All of a sudden, it was like, let's shit on U2. Here's a band with 3-4 masterpiece records. Here's a band that's been playing since they were kids together. All original members, you know, minus Larry right now because he had surgery or whatever he had for, he's sitting out right now. But my point is, people are weird. All of a sudden, they'll just turn on somebody. And you know that. Your friends will just turn on you one day, or your boss or something, you know, or you turn on something. You're like, I don't fucking like Burger King anymore. I don't know what that animal is, but I'll tell you, it happens a lot in art, and it is bizarre to me whenever I see that happen, because I never stopped loving U2, ever. You know? I mean, the Zooropa tour was killer. The 360 tour was killer. Every time I saw them, the only one I missed was that Joshua Tree about 5-6 years ago. But every time I saw them, they fucking smoked it. They always have great songs. And it's just unreal what they have accomplished out of fucking Ireland, 4 friends, you know, kids. Yeah, let's start a band. They become the biggest band in the fucking world with Joshua Tree and then Octung Baby. Unreal. Anyway, holy smokes. I didn't take the mushrooms, and I did not need to. Man. And then I flew home at like 6 in the morning, and then ended up going to Steven Tyler's Grammy party last night. And that was incredible. Black Crowes played. Got to finally meet Sammy Hagar after 40 years. Couldn't believe it. Maybe he'll do the podcast. Talked to Steven Tyler for a little bit. That was fucking amazing. Kelsey Graham was there. Kelsey Graham. Yeah, Kelsey had a gram. I don't know. Fuck, I'm still spun out. It's been fucking raining here like a goddamn monsoon. I mean, it has been coming down here in LA, man. It has been insane. Gertie has been holding her poops. Doesn't want to go out there. I'm babbling now. I'm just pretty fired up from that U2 show, and it was very inspiring, man. I'm going to say that right now. It just absolutely moved me. And there's these things in life, like Nick Cave a few months ago, where it just fucking gives you this perfect blast that you need, you know, in life. Like you're cruising along, you're like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I'm 58. Fuck, I hope I can work. Boom. U2 comes out, The Edge with his crushing tone. Adam Clayton just looking amazing. The band looks amazing. They're slim. They're in shape. Bono's voice is killer. Adam Clayton looking like fucking David Lynch. Unbelievable. Awesome. Anyway, Guest today, comedian Shane Torres, friend of mine. Great dude. Just did his first paid regular spot at the Comedy Store on Thursday night. Congratulations to him. But he is a very well-known and respected comedian out there in the world. And he's got a new special, The Blue-Eyed Mexican, on YouTube right now, produced by Bert Kreischer and Leanne, Bert's wife. We dive into all kinds of stuff, touring in arenas and clubs and opening for rock bands. We converse about our love of comedy and our love of music. And we also talk about the grind, what it is like out there. So thank you, Shane Torres, for doing the podcast. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you go see a special on YouTube. It is absolutely free. So go see The Blue-Eyed Mexican immediately. And then go see him out on the road. Speaking of that, I will be on the road all of February and March. So next couple weeks here, February 16, 17, I will be in Palm Springs with Bill Burr. Then February 22nd, Moda Center Arena, Portland, Oregon with Burr. Rogers Arena in Vancouver with Bill. Then the Delta Center in Salt Lake City with Burr. Then I start doing some headlining again, which feels good. The Comedy Fort. I'm going to be there in Fort Collins, Colorado, Friday, March 8th and Saturday, March 9th. These tickets are all available on DeanDelRey.com. Please get your tickets in advance. It very much helps. And then Acme Comedy Co. Cannot wait to go here. Minneapolis, March 14, 15, and 16. Tour dates. And Dean Del Rey for your Patreon bonus episodes. Patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. DeanDelRey.com, all of that stuff. Fucking 12-minute intro. Sorry, guys. I had to talk about that U2 thing, man. I still can't fucking believe it. And I'm not going to forget it. Ever, man. I am not going to forget that. What a fucking eye-opener. Genius, whoever created this arena. Genius, man. I mean, it is here. It is so here that I think in 10, 15 years, people like 16, 17 years old are going to look back at the concerts I went to in the old days. And they're like, you mean you just went and they just stood on wood and plugged into like amps and you just stood there and looked at them, the band? That's how fucking... I mean, I'm glad I made it to 58 to see this fucking venue. Because, holy shit. All right, enough of that. See you out there, people. I love you. The candles are lit. Here he is, Mr. Shane Torres. All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. Fantastic guest. We got a comedian today. How fucking crazy is that? I do comedy for a living. I've had like 10 comedians on. But, they're all great comedians and friends of mine. Introduce yourself, my man.
It's me, Shane Torres. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming out. You're out here in L.A.
Yeah.
And you're now. We met at the Comedy Cellar.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I think it was one of those things. Like, this happens like in our line of work, like where you meet people in passing for years.
Yeah.
But like it's that nod of like, oh, somebody knows me, or vice versa. But then you're like, I never actually talked to this person. Yeah.
I talked to you like 2-3 times at the corner table.
Yeah. But early
on,
I mean, before then, I think I would see you in passing at like the store here or wherever in New York or whatever shows or festivals kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely not festivals because I never get booked at them.
You don't do. You don't get booked at the festival.
No, they don't fuck with me. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking the festival guy.
I would be surprised.
No,
it seems like your vibe.
I am too. Where are you from? Because we met in New York. I was living in New York, and you were working at the Cellar. And I didn't look anything up on you because I wanted it to unravel. Yeah.
I'm originally from Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's outside of Fort Worth. But I haven't been there in, 20 years almost. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
How long you been doing comedy?
It'll be 17 years this year. But I started in Portland, Oregon. That's where I kind of picked up my chops.
Oh,
I did
wow.
A real, I think it was 21 or 2, and I just kind of was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And, packed up my shit, and I just kind of ran out of money and gas in Oregon. And
I love Portland.
it's the best, dude. Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah.
I would easily live there. People are like, oh, fucking libertards up there. Fucking. Hey, man,
No.
I'll tell you what. Other than rain, I don't like rain.
You're a sunshine kind of guy.
Well, I
you
don't.
from here?
I am,
Yeah.
but I don't need the sunshine because I grew up in San Francisco, and I just don't like rain. I don't like to fuck around with wet shoes and a wet joke
you get
bag.
used to that shit as you go up there.
Yeah.
And it's not like torrential downpours. Just
Yeah.
it will fucking depress you if you're prone to that stuff.
Yeah.
But a few gray skies or whatever doesn't really. I like sitting in coffee shops and writing and reading. So it's good that way. But,
Yeah, it's straight Twin Peaks. I love it. You know?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
fucking
It was
David Lynch land.
There's what comic was from where he's from, or from where Twin Peaks takes place?
Well,
Oh, it's Barbara Holmes. You probably don't know her, but she stayed in Portland. But she was from the town that Twin Peaks was based on.
fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I never watched Twin Peaks other than the first season way back when I was a kid.
Yeah, I haven't revisited it in years.
Yeah, and I was playing music, so I'd just be on the road. And back then, you didn't have any fucking DVR. You had to have VHS tape and know how to program
You
it.
would just never see something.
No,
And
so
the availability of it now is you can't escape it.
yeah. Oh man, so last year I got a Paramount Plus, and my mom was ill and she passed away, and it was such a dark thing to watch. But I was watching that while
You kind of will dive in when you're in a grief moment. I kind of burrowed into it when my folks passed too. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, all right, David Lynch is what I need right now. Some more dark on top of the dark.
Yeah, well, you're kind of like you want to. It's the only feeling you're identifying with at the moment, I guess.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
But-
I guess that's how you know he makes it good. Yeah.
I love Portland. I love. There's a good comedy scene there, and I know Kyle Kinane was living there. I heard he moved back though.
Kyle's he's got a place here. Kyle and I do a pod together.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
So he was in Beaverton or whatever, right?
Yeah, no, he was out in Beaverton, but he just got a place over on the southwest side of Portland. He's got a great place, view of the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice water. He's very yeah. I think he loves it. Yeah.
The industry's wild, man, because you're gonna have guys that are these fucking giant stars, and then you're gonna have guys like a Kyle Kinane or say a Chris Porter, these guys that are out making a great living.
Yeah.
And it's almost better where you're not the fucking
They
skyrocket.
It's that kind of your band's favorite band,
Right.
Your favorite band's favorite band, kind of,
Right.
Yeah, those guys have. Kyle has that for sure, and so does Chris. I saw Chris. That's so weird you brought Chris up too. I saw him this week in Sacramento.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's very. Everyone loves what you do, but you're not. Not everything is a gold record, I guess. But
It's almost good though because you don't get the fucking trolls.
yeah, you get artist dignity, which
yeah.
is kind of it's very valuable in the beginning of your career, I think.
Yeah.
And then it's valuable to maintain it the whole way through.
Right.
Yeah, but it kind of I feel like sometimes people make these choices to well, it's time to sell out. Not even sell out, but maybe do something the way you wouldn't have done it because you want your career to, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't land, it always seems to be a fucking heartbreaker.
Well, I think there's always the comedian that, say Kyle Kinane. I'm not saying he says this, but there's a guy in that level that's always looking at the other level.
Yes.
And then the other guy at that level's looking at the other level. And I think
Very
that
few people look back down, though.
you're I want to be back there.
Yeah, it was kind of nice and quiet. I could have eggs with my friends or whatever. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's an interesting thing where you can, if you can, I've been doing this for 14 years now. I'm on my 15th. You've been doing it.
17 this year. So we're about the same.
Right.
Pretty close. Yeah.
But it's bizarre because each year goes by and you're like, fuck, I did another year of comedy and I'm not working a job.
Yeah. Dude, well, I mean, I was it's insane. I pay my rent and all my bills by telling jokes. I have a hard time remembering that a lot of the time. I kind of I don't want to say I take for granted the good things that happen in my career, but I don't. Sometimes I feel I should observe and appreciate them a lot more than I do. And I just get like, dude, you did this, and this week. And then I heard about something my friend was doing today, and I was like, you ain't shit. You're never going to have a fucking life. You're like, and I had like good shit happen this week. And the thing he's got today isn't going to change his career, probably. Right. And I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the other thing is like I'm jealous and happy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Each year I'm always like, man, I'm the opposite where I just go like, fuck, this is great all the time. Even when there's like drama.
You have that, like, is that your natural setting?
Well, I think just in this, since I started so late, I was like, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be married, divorced. Yeah.
Yeah. I have that too, I think. I didn't start, I don't know when you started.
2006.
Okay.
Sorry, 2009, December 6th.
Yeah, I was November 4th, 2007. Yeah, so like,
Right.
Yeah. So right there, but I feel I was, I wasn't old, but I was like in my mid, like later. Everybody now starts in their infancy almost.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking bananas.
Oh dude, I was at the Comedy Store at 44.
Yeah,
and dudes are looking at me like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you remember Louie, the show where the manager looked 9?
Yeah.
And I was always like, why'd you do that? I don't understand that. And then you get in the business, and you're like, oh yeah.
Oh dude, I was at the store last night. I swung by. And this young woman, she was just like, Shane, I loved your special. And I was like, oh, thank you, And then she goes, oh, I work at UTA. I send your stuff out all the time. I was like, oh, thank you. But I was like looking at her, and she was young, and she's an adult or what. I don't mean to minimize her shit, but I was like, this is like a child helping me in my career.
Right.
And it was like, fine, maybe she's really smart, and I hope she is, but it just kind of like, I got to get over that kind of shit all the fucking time in my head. Like, she's like, you got this kid helping you? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, she could be your daughter.
What I'm thinking is, I don't think I'm old because the material is not old. Back, when I started, if you saw a guy doing like some jokes about a TV show in the 90s, it's like, oh, this guy just got off the cruise ship.
Yeah.
He's locked in on some fucking robot shit. But I don't feel like I'm old. I'm going to be 58 this week. And
happy birthday.
Thanks, dude. But what I look at it is like, they think I'm old. They're not listening to the material. If they're not watching you.
Yeah, if they're just taking you on the.
Yeah, if I think they look young, imagine what they think I look like.
That's a very good point.
Right.
Yeah. Do you find, and I think this is a big thing that we don't really talk about just in the creative world a lot, but your material stays relevant.
Yeah.
Because
I'm in it.
Yeah, you want to be doing it.
Right.
But this is the thing I have a hard time doing, is like I kind of look at the art I take in as my diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for what I create and make. Like if you look at like an athlete has to eat clean to be their best. Like,
right.
Creative people should be taking in things that are good quality art.
100%.
To make good art. We all have our trash shit, obviously,
right,
that we enjoy. But I'm looking around your place right now, and I'm like, well, I would read that. I have read that. That. Yeah. It's that, and that's a big part of maintaining creativity is the diet you take in. And the exposure you get from one of the things I do with my buddy Steve Rogers. Now he's a comic. Is every week we pick a special out, we watch it together, or we watch it and then we compare notes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you need to dissect. Even if you don't like it, everyone has an opinion on comedy now, and nobody fucking watches it anymore. Nobody we don't watch our peers as much as we say we do.
Yeah, I don't watch anybody because I do a spot and then I'm splitting to another spot.
Yeah, I have that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
But even on specials,
right.
I'll be like, I don't like people I didn't like. It's like, what, did you watch it?
Yeah,
and I'm
right.
like, no.
Yeah,
no, you didn't. I'm not a Sebastian fan per se, but he's a remarkable physical comedian.
Right.
It's insane how good he is. What
I
just
like,
not my style, but it is a great version of what it is.
Right. What I like about Sebastian, and the same way I like Chris Rock, is when they're not doing their thing, when they're working the material out. I love that because they don't turn on the thing.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching
The
them,
process is valuable to see.
I'm watching them, and I'm like, this is how they should be. To
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
I'm like, look how
But
dark.
that's why you're like an artist too.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're looking at the space, like
Yeah.
that's why you don't like on your Spotify you don't hit like you don't have just top 5. You're like your record collection is not just greatest hits albums.
Yeah. I mean, I've always loved good shit, and when I did first start comedy, I was just kind of baffled by what would get big, and then I was like, why am I baffled about that? I played music so long, and you see what shit rises and what the good stuff's over here. You're like, well, what about this guy over here? He's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's like literally like
and I'm like, well, Fahim is crushing. How am I even going to get to that? You know, if he's not fucking famous.
Yes, yeah, and that's like the comparative thing. I don't know. Yeah. That's like one of my big mantras this year is like, let other people's success like motivate you, not like cripple you. Like, because
he's not successful yet. He's getting there, but that's what I'm what I'm looking at is like, holy shit, he's crazy funny. How is the industry not grabbing the fuck out of him?
Yeah, and it's like I do know if there was a way to do it, we would all know about it. Well, this is what you do. This is This is how you become a doctor.
The magic dick you suck. It's like when people always like say something, they'll he's like Burr's friend or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, you forgot about the 5,600 spots I've done.
Yes, dude, that's like.
It's fucking nuts.
Dude, even if you think someone's a horrible hack, a lot of times they're a hard worker. Like, they're just not talented. Like,
right.
Like, and there's like that, but there's something to be said for perseverance. Like.
Yeah, I just let it all go now. It's like, hey, man, it's out there. You know what I mean? It's like music or movies. There's going to be bad movies. There's going to be fucking Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And then, which I thought was great.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. And then there's going to be, bad music. There's always been bad music. There's always been great music. There's always been, to me, Mark Lanigan should have been the biggest star ever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what was that thing he did? Was it Twilight Singers?
Oh, yeah. With Greg Dooley.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
That, what is it called? Teenage Wristband, that song? That song. That's a perfect drive.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. And Lanigan, dude, like just a badass dude to me.
Yeah,
like cool. Like he had like a, that kind of a, you don't see that quality a lot anymore. Like a real, I don't give a fuck rock star.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah. Like Steve McQueen. Like I am a cowboy bad motherfucker. Because he was from like Western Washington or something like that.
Yeah, he's fucking Northwest up there, just crazy, dark guy,
stirring. Yeah, dude, and just badass till the day went. Like, yeah.
I mean, my favorite comedian is Norm Macdonald. He was not necessarily a giant star in the comedy world. He was known for SNL doing that, but he was
revered in a way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like. And also, kind of like that person, I think, like everybody's like,
how do you get there?
Yeah,
like,
just be this. He clearly had his own demons with a lot of things, but I think he's one of those people who's like irrefutable ability as a comedian. Like who's gonna? If you want to trade punches with that guy, like good fucking luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Like it's like he was so shifty and so funny in just the stories about him are insane and like a titan. Like I don't know, like and like. Watching, I know everyone does this now, but the YouTube clips of him just doing late night on whatever show he's on, it is, late night will not be that good again because he is dead. That's how I truly feel about it because he could do what and they all wanted him to do what he wanted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His special came out like the first 3 months I started comedy. Norm doing stand-up live at the Fillmore. And so I just start comedy. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to watch this one here, Norm. I remember him from SNL, and I watched it, and it just, I was lucky to see that, like, the first year of me doing comedy, because it kept me into this, like, wow, like.
Yeah, it was still mystifying, or. Like,
because I was like, I don't even know how you do that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the funniest line ever is to me, is like, he's like, I do that thing where I take her to that shed in the woods, and I feel like God, or like, because it says everything without saying anything, like.
I love when he goes, Yeah, he's in a better place. He's like, I don't know. A minute ago, he was on that orthopedic mattress watching Matlock. That sounds like a better place to me
than the floor.
It's so fucking nuts.
Yeah,
man.
and it's just like it is a simple joke. Like, it's so remarkably conversational.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to that always in life. Right now, I'm working on this Benihana's bit. And it's definitely just in that train of mind of like, I'm just telling you what happened when I was there. I'm listening to the laughs and then, tweaking it more. And that, to me, it just seems like he's just telling you what happened.
Yeah, I don't it's not like bop joke. There's no cymbal crack.
Yeah, it's like Nate Bargatze, fucking the Bob Newhart of our time, just a genius.
And and also like it is the cadence is so remarkable.
Oh yeah.
Like the jokes are great, but like delivering it in such a like deliberate pace and speed. Like that is very that's my vehicle. Like that's the vehicle. Like
that's it.
Yeah.
It's just a rhythm. It's like writing a great song. It's the melody, it's the rhythm, it's the words. And then when you start listening to a great bit, you're like, oh, it's got me.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah. It's not, like sometimes you like watch stuff or you listen to stuff and you're like, I would have done it like that. Or like I see where they're going. And like that shit, you're like, some of that stuff, you're like, I wouldn't change a goddamn thing. Like, I'm just enjoying this.
Yeah.
Which is so, I don't want to say it's rare, but it does in some ways become harder to enjoy comedy.
Yeah, that's why I stopped watching it
as a craftsman.
Because I don't want to be like, who am I?
Yeah, but I do that with my friend.
Of course.
And and we know this. Comedy's better when there are people in the room together.
100%.
So when I do this with my friend, sometimes we don't get to watch them together, but we will go back and forth, and be like, that was great. It still excites me to a degree that way. And you forget that, the irony of comedy and as a stand-up is, it's such a communal thing to be enjoyed, but to perform it, it's all alone. And you and dude, I'm getting more and more spun out on the road alone. I'm like, I don't fucking need to talk to anyone. If I didn't have to,
Oh yeah, that's me, straight to the room.
Yeah, and I used to be before, I'd be like, why wouldn't you go talk to everybody who showed up? These people paid to see you. Go shake their hands.
Yeah.
And that's exhaustive, but it is a thing you should do.
I definitely do that, but then I split immediately after because they're like, "What are you doing after?"
I do like that shit.
What am I doing after? I'm going to bed. I just did 2 hours of comedy. Probably traveled for 4 hours.
Yeah, and it was it's a 4-hour work.
My brain is torqued.
Yeah, and it's and I don't. This is the thing. I do not want to talk about comedy.
No.
With people who do not do comedy.
No.
But you don't way into it. It's not and I appreciate people loving it, but it's do you really think you're going to be able to hold water in a conversation?
Yeah.
When you go, and maybe you want to maybe not trying to hold water. Maybe you're just excited and a super fan, and some people are just punishers. And they just fucking keep going.
Yeah.
And some people have good things to say too, obviously, but I fucking I get exhausted by smiling
I think
through
these
an hour.
days when the guy comes up and he goes, dude, does it bother you that the world's PC and you can't say anything? It's just I'll see you later.
Yeah. Well, you're coming in with an agenda.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I don't need it's and by the way, you can say whatever you want.
Anything you want.
You can still say what you want. You also might have to take responsibility for something somebody doesn't like.
100%.
Yeah. And that's okay too. And you know what? You might not be wrong.
Yeah.
They might be, and they probably are an idiot a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I don't
Hey, dude, I grew up during in the 70s and 80s when they were trying to say you couldn't say shit on records.
Yeah.
And those records sold the most.
Yeah. Was it Tipper Gore?
Yeah, Tipper Gore.
The
PMRC.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, please put that sticker on my record.
Do you remember when that was going on?
I was watching that shit. Yeah, it was 80s. Dee Snider, Frank Zappa, just down there destroying them.
Yeah.
With their fucking intelligence.
What an interesting, amount of hysteria they whipped up. Yeah,
it's crazy. It just helped all those bands.
Yeah. I don't know if it hurt the people who like were in a political sense were whipping it up, or I wonder if it rallied their troops even more.
I think it was just something to do.
Yeah, I kind of did. Yeah, like this wine mom didn't drink.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be an interesting subject for a short mini series. Is that like that?
Oh yeah, to see like a Netflix thing on
Or
that.
like an HBO, like let them like show D. Snyder going nuts. Like, God, I worked at my introduction to him.
Yeah,
was I worked at Blockbuster Video and he made a movie called Strangeland.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, and I was like, this guy's in a rock band. Like it was like one of those things that kind of blew my, because I grew up fairly burby, and I was like, you can just do whatever you want. Like you don't like in comedy. Like I have this weird thing where like still in my mind where like you pick a thing and that's the thing you do. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and and I was like, oh, he like makes crazy fucking music, and now he's doing these cool horror movies. And I was like,
he's got a radio show.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
and he was doing it before the internet.
Yeah, and he was doing it because he wanted to.
Right.
It wasn't. It was of his interest.
Right.
I don't think it was a branding for him. You know what I mean? Like,
it's funny you say that because people like I'll have meetings with people and they'll be like, well, we're looking at your Instagram and it's just too confusing. I mean, are you a comedian or are you into architecture or cars? Or it's like, hey man, this is fucking my life.
Also, it's not really that confusing.
Yeah.
You're taking like this. You're scrolling through.
Yeah.
You know, like
they're like, where are your crowd work clips?
Yeah. Or
just
like eat shit, dude. Like. You want to tell me it's confusing? It's like you scroll through 5. I know what you did. You looked at my Instagram page for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You saw that I have like a picture of a steeple up from a church or something.
Yeah.
And like this guitar I liked. Like people have interest. Like yeah.
I'm not fucking a robot.
No.
Here's a crowd work. 200 pages of crowd work. Where are you from? What do you do for a living?
Where are you? What an original concept to ask somebody. Where are you from? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
I remember a Tal one time, he came up to me like 6 months ago at the store lot, and he goes, hey, Dean, remember when you started? I go, yeah. He goes, remember if you did any of that? Somebody would pull you aside and go, don't do that bullshit.
He's the best, man.
He is.
Like I think for me, like him and Norm are the two guys.
Oh my God, yeah. What made you do comedy? You're just sitting around and you see something?
I was there bartending and stuff, and like kind of like I knew I wanted to get out of Fort Worth. Like that was like the big thing for me. Like, and I was like, I was gonna go to San Francisco and finish my degree. But then I didn't really like it, and I didn't pursue it like I would have. It would have been a waste of time. It's kind of what I was figuring out when I got there. And then I got up to Portland, and was bartending, and I did always love comedy really a lot. And I got into Hicks before him, and like Cosby was like somebody I loved before, and like Louis was like he had his HBO show had just started to come out.
Oh God, lucky Louis.
Yeah. And so there were things like that, and I think it's so special. Jim Norton, a couple other people, and I had a Friday night off from bartending, and I was just kind of walking around my neighborhood, and I was like, oh, there's a comedy show at the Baghdad, which was like this cool theater on Hawthorne in Portland. It was like they did every Friday night at like 10 o'clock. They had live stand up, and I was like, oh, this is great. Like I saw people and they blew my mind.
Oh yeah. You remember who they were?
It was Richard Bain was there. Andy Wood, Tristan Spillman, I think, and that I kind of can't remember who else, but they were like all like Portland people, and I was like, oh, this is like
great,
yeah,
right?
and this is like what it was like being in a scene, in my like teenage years going to punk shows and stuff,
Is Portlandia going on at that time?
It hadn't
up there?
started yet,
right?
Yeah, but it was like it was around the verge. I got there at the right time,
right?
Timing in comedy is like, that's the key to it. But it is like, there's a lot of things that applies to. Like
same with me,
the
man.
Company you keep, being around, like being inspired by the people you keep,
know,
and not just doing it,
And also, when you started, I got lucky. I started, right when all of a sudden Netflix and YouTube and social media and podcast were starting to fucking... I've been doing this podcast 12 years.
That's wild.
So it's fucking, it's all like self-made at that time.
Yeah, there was a place to be. If you were a doer...
right.
Like, you can be successful. You can find your people. And that's still the good thing about the world now, I think.
Of course.
Yeah. But then we were just like, I was just like, because it was like they were all alt comics.
Yeah.
And it hadn't really blown up yet. You know, I think people were like talking about it and it seemed like maybe Live from the Purple Onion had come out or something. You know, or Comedians of Comedy maybe hadn't even come out yet. You know? And I was like, this is like, I like it. This looks different and fun. You know, like, and then I was like, I've always kind of wanted to try it, you know, but there was no place to start it in Fort Worth. And I was like, okay. I went up to the guy hosting the show after, and then he was like, you know, hit me with the like, well, you'll probably never do it professionally, but blah, you know, like, and I was like, okay, well, I'll find out where to go and what to do, you know, and then like, just like that, yeah, and then Hungry Tiger 2, November 4th, 2007. Jesus Christ.
A lot of open mics up there?
Yeah, there was like, that scene there at that time was like blistering. Ian Carmel was out of there, Funches was out of there.
Yeah.
Bridgetown had started, they opened a Helium. People were paying attention. People were coming through Portland to do cool shows and stuff. You know, like, and people wanted to come see the town and be in it. You know, like, and especially like LA people, because it was only, you know, it's only a 2.5 hour, 3 hour flight or whatever it is.
Of course. So, and there's all those cool
and
venues, you know, like the rock clubs and shit.
It's part of the culture up there. You know, like, did you tour up there a lot when you were?
When I played music, I toured there a lot, and then when I started comedy, I was doing a lot, like rock clubs and, you know, Crystal Ballroom and, and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Roseland, that's one of my favorite. Yeah.
And people were just coming out, and then since it rained all the time or it was shitty weather all the time, they weren't like, it's kind of shitty, I'm not going out tonight. They just go out.
Yeah, it's death in the summer for indoors entertainment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they're like, it's the same thing in any Midwest state that gets a lot of snow, dude. They're like, we're not fucking, no way we're sitting in a basement.
Yeah, good luck getting anybody in fucking June.
Dude, yeah, and I don't blame them. But
I don't either.
Yeah, but that was like one of those little weird things. Like when I was first starting to tour a lot, you'd be like, I get like a good club, and then they'd be like, you're in Madison in July.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, I can't wait. And I'd be like, and they're like, well, people go outside here.
Yeah,
there's a reason you're getting a top tier club.
You're in an A club on 4th of July weekend. I got all those like comedy works. It'd be like Easter weekend.
And you're like, I'll take it. Yeah. You got like, if you get to eat in this business, it's a pretty good meal. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So how long are you doing comedy up there before you split?
I hit about it'll be 17 years this year. I've been 8 or 9 years. Yeah. I lived there for 10. But it was, so it would have been, I think I'm in New York 10 years this year. So maybe it was 7.
Wow.
Well, no, 2014. I started in 2007. 7 years. Yeah.
And then you moved to New York?
Yeah. Because I got New Faces in 2013.
Did you have management?
No, I did Unwrapped.
Fuck.
Yeah. I did Unwrapped. My roommate, Ian Carmel, did Wrapped. So his New Faces was like a glorious experience.
Yeah.
And mine was like, I was like, you don't know if you don't grow up in comedy in LA or New York or Chicago, you don't know that it's not just shows. It's a fucking, and this is pre-internet, you know, like really pre-internet in the sense of like how much it affects comedy now. But I didn't know I was supposed to be like shaking hands with every fucking agent and man. You know, I truly had no idea. I was just like, I guess I'll go have fun shows, you know, and I'll party, and that's what I did.
Yeah, and then they're looking at it like, what's with that dick? He didn't come over and say, I don't, you know what?
And I didn't care.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't even know who these people are.
No, and I'm not.
I still don't. When they're like in the hallway I go, I don't know, you know, who that guy, am I supposed to go up to each guy and go, hey man, looking for something?
Yeah. Am I what you're looking for? Like, I'm not.
They'll fucking come get you if they know.
Yeah, and I'm not built that way.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I can be a nice, like, gregarious person, but I'm not. I don't like going to people who are always being asked for things in general. Right. Like, I think that's a hard position for them to be in. And I never want to come off as a nuisance. You know?
Yeah, right.
It exhausts me in a way that is a little, like, I feel bad about myself. You know? Like,
Yeah. Well, you moved to New York after New Faces. Do you start, where do you land there? What neighborhood?
I landed in Williamsburg on my buddy's couch for 2 years.
Great area.
Yeah.
After Girls, so it's all loaded and happening.
Yeah. Well, he's a comic, but he had a really nice place, and but it was small. And we shared like this place, but I was gone. I got going pretty quick in New York, like in the sense of like I was getting on stuff, and like I was pretty hungry about finding like work, you know, like so if I wasn't getting up at clubs or whatever, I would just be like, all right, I'll go to Philadelphia and like go on all their bar shit, you know, like like everything was
make it happen.
Yeah, because like it was only an hour and a half away, and it was a $12 Chinatown bus ride, you know, and I couldn't afford a lot, but I could afford that, and then I would just like. Just do that until like, or go to Boston or Baltimore, wherever, like DC. Like I would try and find the advantage of the East Coast that everything's so goddamn close. You can always find
trains and stuff.
Yeah. You don't have to have a car. You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I really was really chugging along pretty quick.
At what point do you showcase at the Cellar?
6, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
I was there for probably 5 years ago now.
Yeah, I think it's me at like
so
the
around
same time.
Yeah.
Who recommended you?
Sean Patton.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. What about you?
Keith Robinson.
That's great. Yeah.
Fucking love him. So you shot a special recently. That seems to be you paid for it yourself?
Bert Kreischer produced it.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Yeah, and Leanne, his wife, really did so much work.
That's fucking great, man. And where did you shoot it?
We shot this little indie rock club called the Sultan Room in Brooklyn.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was he there?
Yeah, Bert was there, helping see it through. Leanne was producing. Jeff Tomzik directed it, and Jordan Levy DP'd it. And they called in a lot of favors because I was supposed to have a few things happen, and then pandemic hit, and then a couple other things fell through. You know, it was just like, I need to get this out. Like, I'm already tired of this material. You know, and I had a few things I was still very happy to be making, but it was real rough on me to have a couple things get close, and I thought would move me in the right direction.
Yeah, so like me, I shot a Netflix thing and they cut me out.
Oh, really?
Well, it was the Bill Burr and Friends.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, cut out of the space. But at the end of the day, you just go, yeah, man, that's just the fucking biz. You know what I mean? I talked to Bill. I've talked to a bunch of comedians over the years when you're touring with them. Like I was with Bill in Vegas, and he's like, oh, yeah, Tropicana. I remember first Vegas headline in there. They replaced me midweek to the feature. You know what I mean? Like you hear these real stories.
Yeah, and it's like
they keep it going.
They are and they are inspirations, and they are also just like, you know, it's always hard to take a shot on the chin from somebody. But
of course.
But we got this out now, and it seems to be doing pretty well.
What's it on?
It's on YouTube. It's on Bert's YouTube and mine.
Great.
And we just I know we made a really cool thing. It's just about getting people to see it at this point.
How long's it been out?
A month.
A month?
Yeah.
And what's it called?
The Blue-Eyed Mexican.
The Blue-Eyed Mexican. Do you speak Spanish?
Fuck no. I was very much like, I'm a horrible marketer of myself. And Bert was like, this is like a good title. And I was like, you're probably right. It seems like people will remember it's very Googleable.
Yeah.
Probably because it sounds like a slur.
And it's in an hour?
Yeah, we did it landed like 58 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
And now what? We got to chop them all up and we got to put them on.
I'm literally doing that after, as soon as we're done with this.
Right.
I have a call with my manager who
is your manager?
This guy, Adam Siegel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I will go do another podcast in like an hour and a half. But in between that, I just gave a bunch of notes on it all being chopped up.
Right.
And then I got to go chop it up. And like, that's the thing is like, I don't.
That's the
write
animal.
in the singular. Like
I don't either.
My stuff's pretty like. We're not. I think we're similar in that stuff. Like my bits are 6 minutes long.
Right.
Yeah. I can't fit into an algorithm as much as I would like to.
Oh, here we'll just put the punchline on.
Yeah. And I don't like it's like. Well, I'm like leaving like so much, but that's what it is. You know, like it is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, let that part go. You know, you don't like it. But this is fucking vegetables.
Yeah, and that's what it is right now. It'll go back. I think it's going to go back to long form once we weed out the algorithm, people that are just there to silence their bummer at the job. You know what I mean? Because the art of like a good hour is so fucking rare to see. When you see somebody do it,
fluidity
like
it's crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, anybody who can string together 5 stories, Bert's that way. You know, like
Mulaney's last one. Oh man, I fucking love that one.
Yeah, I just worked with him this past weekend.
Oh, he's so good. And that whole cocaine thing. How are you gonna chop that up? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like you're leaving so much.
It's like chopping up No Quarter by Zeppelin.
Yeah.
You're going to chop that up? Like, here, just put this solo on.
Yeah, and like, well, this is out of context.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, and it's also kind of agonizing to watch yourself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I've shot like 2 specials and shelved them. You know, I'm like,
Oh, really?
nah.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, you know.
You gotta, and it just like you have to put them out, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. That isn't that funny? Like, Attell early on told me, he goes, man, I didn't put a record out for 15 years. Because once you put that shit out, it's just out there. These people are putting stuff out. They've been on 6 months, and they're putting out an hour.
Yeah,
like,
it's insane.
It is.
It's insane. And they all think they're good.
Yeah.
And, like, they can't all be good.
No.
It's
Yeah.
like, what is that? It's impossible. There's very few people that have that kind of ability.
There's maybe like 5 in a lifetime. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
People
like
that did
Chappelle,
they did it like an hour, and you're like, oh, yeah.
He's
this
got
guy.
it. Yeah. But, like, it's such a fucking rarity. You know, like... And I don't think, like, I worry about that. I've been trying to raise this conversation on podcasts more and more about, like, the lack of a sense of history in comedy right now is pretty jarring.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's, like, I don't know any kid who has been in the past 5 years has been like, I love Greg Giraldo. You know, or even know who, a lot of them don't know who he is. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I know everything about him or every other person that preceded, but I do have a sense of history. You know, and like are really rooted in it, in its place. And like, I don't think people have an appreciate.
It's just like music. You dive down a rabbit hole when you love something. When I started comedy, man, dude, I mean, first of all, I've been watching comedy since the 70s.
Yeah.
You know? I saw comedy. I would go. I seen Seinfeld a zillion times. I saw Carlin. I saw Kinnison, Dice, all these guys. Zillions of times I'd go see it, you know. San Francisco was a huge comedy.
Yeah.
You know, that was the first fucking giant wave.
Robin was up there.
Yeah. And Bobcat, man.
Yeah.
I would see Bobcat, you know, I went to his fucking special shooting, you know. Like,
wild.
I didn't even, and I was like, man, I'd like to do comedy, but I play rock. You can't do
That's
that.
the thing. I do that shit to myself, too. Yeah, like.
Yeah. And then... when I started comedy, still even now, man, I watch Burr, like you tour with Kreischer sometimes. I watch every one of his shows on the tour.
Yeah.
All hour and a half of it
I
every
usually
night.
try to get in like one a weekend on Bert's.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, let's come along, let's move.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I just watch it because I want to see, he's going to change it every night.
Yeah, well, that's work ethic.
Yeah, work ethic. And I want to see where he changed it, why he changed it. Did he forget? Or is he trying this, you know, something new here? Oh, this audience, he's doing this.
He moved that to the back of this.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the same when I tour with Marin or
you go with Mark some?
I did for a couple of years. And then also Joey Diaz, different guys. They're all different.
And you learn a lot.
Yeah, I learn a lot, man. I'm just fucking consuming it.
Yeah, and
man.
that's how you do it. And like that's the sense of history.
Yeah.
Yeah. And peership too. You know, like
Yeah.
And I don't see near as much of it in comedy as I used to.
Well, I don't see passion.
Yeah.
I see
production.
I see quick steps. I want to get famous. How do I get famous? I want to get TikTok huge. And
I was like, I
that's
don't even
fine.
have a fucking TikTok.
Yeah, I'm not the old man going.
Or I
like,
have one, but I never use it.
Yeah, I'm not the get off my lawn guy.
Yeah, I don't want to be that either, but I also want to be like, well, this should be better.
Yeah,
like,
right.
There was a time where it was very hard, and you didn't talk to comics.
Yeah,
like that. Like when you started, they were like, you waited for them to talk to you.
Yeah,
and that sucked too.
There was a time where it was impossible to get past at a club.
Yeah,
you had to fucking put in your time. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, put in your fucking time.
Yeah, dude, it took me 7. I was probably 11 years and 12 years into comedy before I got past the cellar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know, like.
It's fucking crazy.
You know, like, it's like, that's a good amount of time. You have to be good.
You gotta be good. You gotta be good.
And you're not quitting then.
No.
Like.
Yeah.
You might not get where you want, but you're not quitting.
How's the Bert tour, and how did you come onto Bert's radar?
The tour can be wild. Like, everybody knows that, I think, but it's not, it's excessive. I wouldn't say it's like degenerate. You know what I mean? Like, we party, we drink or whatever, but
Right.
like that's pretty like, we eat too much, and like we
Yeah.
have late, but it's not. It's very professional in a lot of ways.
I get it, man. It's like fucking being out with Lollapalooza back in the day.
Yeah,
you know?
did you do a run on that?
No, but I'm just thinking, like, you got all these guys, they're all friends, and
Yeah.
it's an arena, and you're just
And
like,
you're gonna try and like outdo each other.
outdo
too.
yeah, absolutely.
You want to throw it down, like
yeah.
yeah.
You want to fucking slay.
Yeah. You like. It's right. You want to hit the bag harder than everyone. You want to run as fast as everybody.
Right.
Else. Yeah.
And how many people are on the show?
Usually 2 or anywhere between 3 and 4, including Bert. You know,
Is there a host or is it cold
we
opens?
flip it.
Oh,
like
got ya.
so like, it's not a you piggyback it.
Yeah.
And then like so one night I might go first, and then one night the next guy might go first. You know,
Right.
like we'll go first. So that you just kind of like rotate it around.
Right. And are you all on the bus?
Yes. Yeah. And that's great living, but
Yeah, I love the bus.
it's
Submarine.
Yeah.
Just going across America.
Yeah.
I did it 2 months last year in the
Yeah.
bus with Marcus King. Oh, we did a comedy rock tour.
Oh, nice.
It was fucking great,
Yeah.
man. Just as soon as you're done, you're on that bus, you're in your bunk chilling, you know.
or like you guys hang out and watch a dumb movie. Or
Oh
whatever.
yeah. Listen to some music, man.
Yeah.
We just nerd out on music.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And Marcus loved comedy, so it was just like the
I don't
bus.
really know his stuff.
Oh fuck, he's great, man.
Yeah.
It's like Aretha Franklin meets Stevie Ray Vaughan meets it's tough to describe. Meets like Chris Stapleton or something.
Okay.
It's just this authentic 25, 26-year-old now, one of the great songwriters, singers, and guitar players. He's a triple whammy, man.
Wild.
It's
I'll have to listen to him
fucking
this week. Yeah.
nuts. He just did a record with Ruben that's coming out in a couple weeks
Wow.
here. Yeah, and this record's really weird because it's almost like Adele, D'Angelo, Maxwell meets Marcus. It's got this real R&B soul.
I'll have to check it out.
Oh, I'll play some of it for
Yeah.
you, man. Fuck.
I'd love that. Yeah, I've been jonesing for a new record or two. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I've been kind of like
That smile I just played.
yeah,
to,
it's
that's
great.
fucking great.
I've been in this like spot where I've been kind of like just listening to the shit I've listened to for years.
Oh, yeah.
which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But you're kind of like, I need some inspiration. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Who are you into?
I think we talked about it, but I'm a huge Wigs fan. Kiss the Floor, that song, like the
Yeah.
guitar on that song, the way it comes in, just fucking kills me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm kind of just like a big Dooley fan in general.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And then
Dooley's a fucking genius.
yeah. Like I told you, I listened to that interview you did with him. It was great. And then I would also say, right now, what's in the rotation a lot? Tim Barry. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Todd Barry,
No. Could not be more different.
who's a great music lover too.
Yeah, Todd is
Barry.
huge, yeah.
Hey, Todd's really weird.
He's
when
a
I'm,
good drummer, right?
I don't know what he does, but we lived in the same building for about a year there in New York, and
Oh, you lived in Todd's building?
yeah, and it would always be really Todd. I always thought he'd look at me like, look at this fucking guy.
Oh,
you
I
know?
think he looks at everybody thinks
Yeah.
that Todd looks at him that way.
But one time he came up, he goes, "Great episode with Rollins."
Oh,
and I was
really?
like, "Ooh, I'm in."
Oh,
Todd's talking to me.
You had Henry on?
Yeah. It was 4 hours. It was
Yeah.
great.
That's fucking. He seems
Those are
like
the dudes I like.
He's-
Waits, Dooley,
Yeah.
Josh Homme.
Hami's awesome.
Yeah, fucking Rollins.
That guy. Like, I did a run of shows with Jawbreaker
Oh, yeah.
a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And I heard some story about Henry. Like, I think it was Adam from Jawbreaker was just like, I was like, is it true? Like when you first met him, he was just doing burpees on the side of the stage before he went up. And he was like, "That sounds like him." Just
Oh, you open for bands too?
yeah, I've
How
done
weird is it, right?
It's bananas.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I've done it with 3 or 4 acts, probably.
Who were they?
Jawbreaker.
Yep.
Lucero.
Yep.
And the Lawrence Arms I did stuff with. And that's kind of it, right? I'll probably do something with Off With Their Heads because I'm friends with Ryan.
Yeah.
But
I did Alice in Chains.
great.
Metallica.
Great.
Marcus King. Rival Sons.
Nice. I don't know Rival Sons.
Great
Yeah.
fucking band. Oh my God. Just a crushing rock band.
Yeah?
But not like, I'm talking like with layers where you're like, what the fuck?
I'll have to give them. You got.
Yeah, I'll spin it for you.
It's like I love it But there is a point where I'm like, I want to like enjoy this band instead of be on stage. You know, like, and I feel like they want that too a lot of the time.
Right.
Like the Jawbreaker stuff, those guys were really good about pushing me out front, and like everybody has been, like being like, go see him. You know, like we have Shane. My favorite thing is when I'm at these things and people are like, I'm a fan of yours, when they're at something I'm a fan of.
Oh, that's great.
That's the best fucking feeling.
Yeah.
But it is also doing 20 minutes after like some gnarly band has gone on.
Oh.
Yeah. It can be a little bit of a
It
chore.
is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Ever.
I did it in Chicago. We did the Metro. I was with the Lawrence Arms. And I did 2 nights. And we were like... the first night it was pretty tough, you know.
Yeah,
I went third.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's almost the worst.
Yeah.
Because they're ready. Like, get the band on.
Yeah.
I got to work tomorrow.
I took kind of a beating, you know. And the next night I was like, I said to Brendan, I go, and I've done this trick before, but I go, bring me up. Tell him it's John Mulaney that's coming out.
Yeah.
And they all got quiet, and you know, like, and I was like, oh, so y'all can shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
like all you hip. Cool motherfuckers. Just so you know, like, I love John, but there couldn't be a more established comedian in the world. Like,
yeah.
And they like, I got to give them their shit, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like trying to weave into material there is
that's the hardest part.
Yeah, and
because you're like, oh, hey, and then you start material, and they're just like, nah.
yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah, they want like, and I'm like, and it's also, you know, like, some of those acts are, I don't want to call them legacy acts, and they're like, I think a lot of them are doing better than they've ever done, but they are in that place of like, their fans are 40, you know, like they're like, they're not as young as they used to be, you know,
and they're not fucking ready to experiment with a different format. They're locked into the 3-band format, and I missed the first 2 while I went out to dinner and had beers.
Yeah, and it's like, I got a fucking sitter for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude,
I do a bit now where I go, you know, I'm open for a rock band, which is weird because if the audience doesn't know there's a comedian on the show, they're always looking at me like, why is this roadie talking about his dick? Which is true.
Yeah, no, and I look the same. You know, like, we look like we could be hanging out backstage.
Check.
Yeah.
The band will be out in a minute.
No. Yeah, Ron's on it. Yeah.
It's fucking, it is so hard. I said I'd never do it again, but the phone will ring and I'll be like, you know what? Because I did that Marcus King tour, and it was hard, but it was great memories, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I have something. Do you know St. Paul and the Broken Bones?
Oh, I love him. I had him on the show years
Oh, you had Paul on?
Oh, yeah, Paul's great.
He's
guy.
great. Yeah, him and I were texting.
Yeah.
And, like, I might try and do something.
He's
like,
a good...
It's very, like somebody reached out to my guy because I think they're doing some kind of event.
Yeah, he's a good friend, man.
Yeah, he's the best. He couldn't be a sweeter guy.
I had him on the show on the first album. I saw him at the El Rey, and I was like, I fucking want to blow this band up. They're fucking great.
Yeah.
And I just blew him up for like
what
2
a
years.
fucking set of pipes on that guy.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
damn.
It was very fun. I did Bonnaroo with him.
Oh, yeah.
And we were doing press together.
Yeah.
And they're like these kind of like sexy rock star guy types.
Yeah.
Up there, you know, it was like me and Paul were up there, and we were slaying. Like, we were killing it, you know, and these other guys were kind of like, they were nice or whatever. It was definitely like a little bit of talking points on some of them. But like Paul and I like had a very fun time. Like, and then we just became buds. He was like, come see my show. And I was like, I was planning on it. And then we were hanging out, and he like,
dude, the guy's a fucking
he's a showman. He's like, it's like, and he's, you know, he's this regular ass looking dude, 5'5", whatever.
Alabama fucking.
Yeah. And he was just ripping the carpet off the stage.
Oh, yeah.
And he just threw it out onto the crowd and just surfed it, dude.
Yeah.
And everybody was like losing their shit. And he was just like going. Like,
he's so great, man.
Yeah, and he's a sweetheart too. Yeah.
They got a new record out. Check it out, people.
Yeah. What was it? The last one, Astronauts in Science? Or
that
something?
thing was cool. They went a different fucking route, man.
He wants to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. People are doing that. Like, Sturgill's a guy who does that for me too a lot.
Oh, yeah, Sturgill.
Yeah.
All right, so the special is out now. It's on YouTube.
Yep.
Blue-Eyed Mexican.
On my channel and Burt Kreischer's.
Do you have any tour date? I know you do.
Yeah. Catch me in Des Moines, Iowa. I will be that week.
Where are you at there?
I think the Funny Bone.
Des Moines, Iowa.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I do this other club there. It's fucking good.
Which one do you do?
Oh man, what the fuck is it called?
Should I do that one? I'm looking at my calendar right now, so I'm not. Okay, so
Teehees.
yeah,
Teehees is great.
people like that spot.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude.
Yeah. So Des Moines, Iowa, the 16th and 17th. I'm sorry. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, the Plus. Minneapolis, Acme.
Oh, I'm doing
March,
Acme, my first time.
Dude, you're gonna.
I can't fucking
March
wait.
5th through the 9th.
Oh, yeah.
And then.
I'm there the week after.
Are you really?
Or like 2 weeks after.
Sick. Baltimore, Maryland at the Port. March 21st through the 23rd. Punchline, Philly, 29th and 30th. Milwaukee, Laughing Tap. April 4th, 5th, and 6th. And ShaneIsAComedian.com for all that stuff.
Awesome.
And guys, all stuff's selling pretty well right now, so get your tickets.
That's great,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
doing
me,
the
man.
show.
Seriously, thanks for
fuck
making the time.
In a minute, dude.
Yeah.
As soon as you asked me, I was like, absolutely. I don't have a lot of comedians on because when I started the show, that was 12 years ago. That's
Was
what
that everyone did.
Well,
yeah.
Marin was doing that. There wasn't everybody. It was just like Marin was doing comics.
But a lot of people were knocking, like, biting his thing.
Right, yeah. And I was like, I'll just interview musicians and friends of mine and artisans and stuff. And now I like to have comics on because I'm like, hey, man, I do comedy. A lot of listeners, they're like, oh, they don't even fucking, they know.
Yeah, you should use it to get your sales.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, I do this show to get butts in the seats. I got to turn it around. So I do a lot of solo episodes now, which I love doing.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, you get more of me and comedy or whatever.
Man, you get to have some perspective, and like it's kind of like journaling almost.
All right, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me.
Website one more time.
ShaneIsAComedian.com.
Instagram.
Shane Torres.
And Torres.
Yes.
People. And you on that X Twitter thing?
It's that where you're gonna find me.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not where you're gonna find me.
Just fucking Shane Torres on all this stuff. Yeah, you'll find me.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And go see him live. And also catch my tour dates, DeanDelRey.com, and my Patreon, patreon.com/DeanDelRey. Thank you for tuning in.